Now. Hello, and welcome to Nerd News Now. Everyone's here. I got Miss Jen, I got Kyle, I got Brainy. How's everyone doing? Miss Jen, let's start with you.
I'm at the end of my gauntlet of live today, so my smile might be permanently plastered on my face.
What all did you sell today?
Just a little bit of everything. I feel like my theme today ended up being like 80s and 90s books, just across the felt that way.
Is there anything in particular that's hot right now? Like, are those hot, or is everything hot right now? Like, what are you seeing spikes in right now?
It's interesting. I think that as we go along, every day that you have something come out, like, today's trailer for Shang Chi, something else becomes the new hot, desirable book. I don't know if it overwrites completely all of the other stuff that was hot. Like, I don't know if the stuff that WandaVision made popular is still high dollar or not, but it's a lot to keep track of, we'll say.
Did anything pop from Falcon and Winter Soldier over the weekend?
Not that I noticed. Although something probably should have, but no one came in looking for a specific thing, at least.
Okay, well, the one book that would have was already probably a pretty tough book to find, because I think it was like Strange Tales number 59.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of that, real quick, is everyone caught up on that show, by the way? No. Okay, no.
But I did notice in live sales, anything Strange Tales is selling hotter than it was previous.
Okay.
Whether they're the Strange Tales specific to this, but that whole run right now is kind of bumping up a tier in terms of how fast it sells.
Yeah, that's with everything that was West Coast Avengers, and that was because most everything was tied to the WandaVision show.
Yeah, and if you want to discuss the show, Mark, I can mute, and you guys can discuss it. I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, I can take my headphone out and eat my cookies.
Well, I think I'm the only one caught up, so we can just wait until the season's over at this point. I mean, there's only one more episode this week, so.
Yep.
Yeah, and then about 6 weeks later, I'll have finished it.
Yeah, that's.
That kind of defeats the purpose of binging it, Kyle.
I understand, but I have decided. I've caught up on Mighty Ducks Game Changers, which is the best show on TV. Then I am watching Invincible as it comes out. And then I decided before I watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, because I started watching episode 2, and I'm like, no, I got to go back and rewatch episode 1. And then I'm rewatching episode 1 going, you know what, I really need to go back and watch Endgame. And then I really should go back and watch. So basically, I'm going to watch all of the Captain America films again, but my time is still pretty limited for television watching. So it's like, when do I watch these things? So it takes me about 2 days to watch a whole movie.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch Captain America: The First Avenger, because I remember not liking that movie, and I think I would see it with fresh eyes now.
Mm-hmm. I remember liking it when I first saw it, then not liking it on a rewatch, and now that I started it last night and watching the first half, going, why didn't I like this movie? And so it must have to do with the second half of the film, which I will watch tonight. But it's one of those that I think rewatching lets me slow down a little bit on. Especially if it takes me 2 days to watch one of these things. I get to spend 24 hours thinking about the first half of the movie and how great Peggy Carter is. And then the second half of the movie going, God, why did they cancel that show?
Yeah.
Yeah, why did they cancel that show? I mean, I know why. It's the same reason why, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was just sort of meandering on the network for X amount of seasons, but I wish they would strongly consider bringing it back for Disney Plus, because as long as she's on board to do it, I think Haley Atwell, she can carry that show. And it had gotten to a point where it was getting good. It's like they always. Well, it was at the end of season 2, right? And I just enjoyed the show. The show was really good. I just
The
wish it.
second season got a little shark jumpy for me. But the more I think about it, the more anything that takes place with those characters at that time is going to just be nothing but shark jumping.
Yeah.
It's progressively bigger and better sharks. Like, you know, so it's okay. I can get behind it. Like, I really enjoyed season 1. I thought season 2 was a little weird. But the more I watch it, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, it could go another couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of that is probably their limitations of what characters they're allowed to use. I mean, like Madam Mask was the big bad, so in that aforementioned season 2, and I still thought they did a good job with it, but it's going to be some more obscure stuff. But if they would have been able to treat it as such, almost like a Monster of the Week or like an X-Files type show, but within that universe with that similar tone, I would have continued to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
She's just one of the more enjoyable characters in the MCU. So, and I think that there's a lot there, and I think that there's probably a lot about the history of Shield that I've personally never seen or read, and I just think it could have kept going for at least 5 seasons. So. But so Kyle, besides watching Mighty Ducks over and over, what else have you been up to?
What's that?
That's good.
No,
I need how is that like
I've
4
been-
episodes?
Yeah, they're 4 episodes in. I've been kind of on media hiatus, except for that. Working on work. So because of what I'm doing for work, I'm not watching anything new, except for Invincible and Mighty Ducks. Because I don't want to have any ideas creep in that are, thievery. So I am rewatching all of Whose Line Is It Anyway? Because you can gain no insight into anything from that show. It's just fun, except when it's not. And it lets you shut your brain off. But I basically have spent the last week building a studio so that this one can be retired and the new one can be moved into, and it's more spacious and it does more. But yeah, I'm also working on a couple of shows of my own that require me to not consume media.
Okay.
So-
It's
Kind of a boring lifestyle.
a little cryptic, but I guess that's
No, it's the reality is that last time I was watching New Something and working on a show, I
Uh-huh.
basically tried to force the New Something into being about that show, and it didn't work. I've got to separate the two, so that way I can let the actual thing I'm trying to do be the thing I'm trying to do.
Yeah, not get distracted by trying to emulate other stuff or have other ideas come in and derail the current idea. Yeah, I get it. Well, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I do have to watch an inordinate amount of Columbo though.
Oh yeah. Was that a TV series like that sporadically aired, or was it just like a movie of the week that sporadically aired?
I have no idea. I've watched
Okay.
like 6 episodes.
Yeah. I'm more Murder She Wrote, so.
They were similar. Columbo and Murder She Wrote. They were similar.
Yeah. I wish they would have had a crossover.
I think they may have. I can't.
Columbo, she wrote.
That'd be cool.
With Miss Marple.
It's just Angela Lansbury writing an episode of Columbo. That's the whole episode. That's the whole show.
That would be great. I would watch that. Brainy, what about you? What have you been up to the last week?
Yeah, not very much. Just been, working and working and working, and I've had to take up some shifts at the store because one of our employees is off on vacation. And I realize again, I need to retire. Jen knows what I'm talking about.
I am the reason why Brainy didn't retire the first time, because I talked him into staying in the industry because the industry needs him around. But I see now what he's up against at his shop. So
yeah, I'm you know, I've got too much on the plate that, you know, it just keeps falling off the plate now. So I need to figure out what I'm going to do.
Can I suggest a bigger plate? Usually when I go to a buffet and there's too much on my plate, I just grab another one.
See, I took that idea and I started carrying 3 plates around. Then I realized I only have 2 hands, and the third plate just gets shuffled over and over.
Nope.
Something keeps
You get
falling
some of those
off.
sticks and you spin them, and then the plate spins, and you go spin this other one.
Yeah, my man, I'm not as talented as you are.
I'm not either. There's a reason I use paper plates for that trick.
But yeah, as far as television, I'm actually, believe it or not, watching Jane the Virgin on Netflix.
So good.
And the more I watch it, the more I'm like, oh man, this show's actually really good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I'm tempted to be like, man, maybe I should turn on those telenovelas and start watching those now. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job on that show. I'm surprised, and it is actually honestly not what I was expecting. It's a dark comedy, drama-ish, whatever, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's a pretty good show.
Yeah, I can't remember how that was really advertised, but I remember people latched onto it pretty early on, and the fans kind of stuck with it. So.
Was it after Monk? Did it originally air after Monk or Psych? It was one of those shows that was like really big for CW or whatever that network was. It's the USA Network.
Yeah, but I think Jane the Virgin was ABC, so
yeah, it didn't necessarily air there all the time.
Really?
I don't think it aired on ABC where I'm at, but it was always. I think it had to do with, at least around here, with the shows it was connected to. Like, it might have debuted on ABC and then quickly moved to CW, which in our region is owned by ABC. Like, and then it aired after, like, Vampire Diaries or Pretty Little Liars or one of those shows.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, I did not know that. I thought it was just well, for us it was ABC, so it might have just been that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beyond that, I'm also still working on my music, so that's about it.
Serious question for everyone. When's the last time you've been to a buffet? We'll start with Kyle because he brought up buffet, and it just made me think about that.
This afternoon.
Did you really?
Really?
Hey, I think I might be done with buffets from here on. But
they don't let you get your own food.
Oh, okay.
It's like cafeteria style. Like the buffet I went to, it's you go and you say, I want some of that, I want some of that, and they pass the tray behind them, and then we get to the checkout, they hand you your food.
Okay.
But it was a cafeteria style buffet, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
But I totally made my money back.
Yeah.
They had we went specifically because on Mondays at this buffet they have Cajun shrimp, and it's real good. And there were like 5 people there, and I was the youngest by, other than my friend that I went with, I was the youngest by 40 years probably. Like, it was it was 2:00 in the afternoon when we ate, and you could tell there were people there having dinner.
Wow.
It was that kind of crowd, but
wow.
Totally worth it.
Follow-up question. What passes for Cajun shrimp in Ohio?
No, it's this place is, it's a Creole restaurant. Like,
oh, okay.
Monday is shrimp, Tuesday is jambalaya, Wednesday is a crawfish boil, Thursday is, they have their special every day, and so Monday is the shrimp po' boy. So, like, that's all they do.
Being in
They
Texas,
do a blackened catfish there that'll make you slap yourself. You wouldn't believe it. It's so good.
Well, that does sound good. I just like I'm so close to Louisiana. I feel like the further I get away from that state, you know, the more a risk Cajun food is at other places. But
Right. I think it has something to do with the fact that it's real cheap to live here,
yeah,
and people move here because of that. And so, like the people who are there, they sound like the people from the Duck Dynasty show when you talk to them.
yeah,
You know,
okay.
nothing wrong with that. They can cook the hell out of some food. So who am I to judge? But yeah, it's
Yeah.
the thing about Toledo is they call it the crossroads of the country because we have I-75, which runs north to south, and we have 80-90, which runs east to west, literally across the country. Plus, it's major shipping thoroughfares for everything. And so people come here for work, and then their families stay for generations, and then people move here for work because somebody gets a job and decide to do other things. So we've got amazing Jamaican food, we've got amazing Cajun food, we've got really good, because my husband works at the oil refineries, so I opened up a bakery. Okay, what kind of bakery? Oh, it's Japanese bakery. Sweet. I will totally get an edamame, Pikachu thing. Looks tasty.
I mean, I think, yeah, I guess I was just making a generalization, but yeah, if you find like a place that knows what they're doing, you can find any type of good food anywhere. It's just few and far between, you know? Yeah, it's a lot of trial and error.
I made a joke to a friend of mine who lives out in California. He goes, "What should I get for lunch?" I go, "Mexican food." And he goes, "Why?" I go, "Well, because here our choices are Taco Bell or El Pollo Loco. Out there, you can get like something real."
Yeah.
And we both know that's not true of here, but it kind of feels like it. Like, so I get that. I get that emotion, but it's one of the things I pride myself on is here in Toledo is we can find any kind of food from any kind of place and it's going to be killer. We just got a new Vietnamese restaurant that I haven't been to yet, but everybody I've talked to says it's like eating Vietnamese food in Vietnam. So,
Yum. Yeah, I'm kind of in mourning because the buffet that I used to go to for Chinese food, because they made kung pao chicken, but they cut the kung pao chicken up into tiny little pieces. So it was about the same size as what you would end up with, like if you found a peanut, because you're supposed to have peanuts in there. So it was to die for. But I did not, and I've been there since COVID started, so I knew it had survived COVID in general. But we drove by there yesterday for something else. Weren't even looking to go there, and it's completely empty. I was crushed.
It's just gone?
Just gone.
Huh. I don't know what place that is. Now I'm trying to figure it.
The one over by the oh my goodness, what's the closest thing there? There used to be a church in the same shopping center that took over the Kroger spot. It's in line with that. And next to I never go to this place, so I can't ever remember the name of it, but it's a discount place that's over there.
Oh,
I'll
yeah. That's yeah, that's unfortunate. These restaurants that aren't gonna make it. That's always, you know, we're still gonna get to see the outcome of that total. But is that the last buffet that you ate at?
I believe so. But it wasn't when we went in, they didn't have the buffet part on. It was just like sit down and then bring you.
Yeah. I I'm I just haven't been in a restaurant this whole time.
Really?
Yeah. Not to sit down and eat, no, not even on the patio. But I finally got my shot coming up on 2 weeks ago now. So but I think the whole buffet question comes from just the idea of people sticking stuff in chocolate fountains at the Sizzlers. So that's really not an accurate view of all buffets, right? But
right.
buffets in general, especially what Kyle said about, oh, I got my value back, like just overeating at a buffet because you think you have to get the maximum value, or you want to try a bunch of different things on your plate that may not necessarily go well on your plate or in your stomach. Um, but for like specific items, like what he was mentioning, like an item of the day type thing, I would probably do it. And in Texas, even though I don't know what's going on with the company, we're all about Luby still now and forever till that finally goes away. Um, so the home style cafeteria will always have some sort of place in my food loving heart. But Brandy, what about you and buffets? What's your relationship with buffets?
I enjoy buffets. The last buffet I went to was actually right before the pandemic was officially, announced. We were actually in Vegas. So every year we used to go. It was Comics Pro, and if Gamma, it depends on when the Gamma was scheduled. It was Comics Pro, Gamma, then Toy Fest in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
This year we went to Comics Pro, or last year we went to Comics Pro, flew back, and then went to Vegas for Toy Fest. And that was, for, I think it was like that Sunday or Monday, I forgot which day it was, but my wife, the kids, and I, we were so hungry. We're like, let's just go to the casino and go to the buffet. That was the last buffet we went to. We used to go to. I mean, my coworkers. There's an Indian buffet, or there was actually the same thing happened to that Indian buffet. They basically shut down, but there was an Indian buffet in our area where we work. So every week we would, those guys are like, let's go for Indian food. We got to go for the Indian buffet. So we were going regularly. But last one. Can't wait to go back. I'm tempted to go to Vegas to see how they're setting up the buffets now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the casino buffets, especially like because we have a lot in Detroit, and people drive get on buses and go from here to Detroit just to go to the buffet. They're not open in casinos necessarily. And I'm not sure that our Chinese buffets are open. It's a lot of the really small places that are able to get their buffets back open because they can meet violate the health code rules. They can do these other little things. Like this place, it was literally like there was a wall of glass between you and the food now.
Mm-hmm.
You used to could smell it, now you couldn't. I think it's like the big casinos, they're the ones who are going to struggle buffet wise to get back open because there's just a lot less you can control than there is in a restaurant that at full capacity seats 25.
Yeah, so.
Sorry, I'm giggling. Harper is just like he keeps loving on the phone, so she is. Harper's right here horning in.
No, I was gonna say though, having Mark saying he hasn't eaten in a restaurant in a year. A lot of people are like, I can't go to the movies, it's killing me. Can't see my friends, it's killing me. Through this pandemic. No, if I couldn't go to restaurants, that would be the thing, right? One of the things I like the most is going to dive bars. I don't drink anymore, but dive bars have the best food. It's because you go in, they're like, no, you got to try the cheeseburger. What's a cheeseburger? Yeah, but you got to try it. It's the best cheeseburger you ever ate. And sure enough, it's an amazing cheeseburger. That's the stuff I miss, is being able to go into little tiny little hole in the wall bars, and you're like, they still smoke in here? That's been illegal for 15 years. Give me the chicken wings. And you get them, you're like, I've never eaten a chicken that tastes like this before. That's the stuff I missed. And if I still couldn't go to buffets or restaurants, I'd be about at the end of my rope.
Well, make no mistake, I get takeout and curbside and all that. I just haven't
right, but I I enjoy the ambiance of the places. I like to go to them.
Well, what you're talking about reminds me of a place I went to in Austin 2.5 years ago where they had pork belly on a hamburger. Yeah.
There's a place right up the road here that does a brown sugar burger. That it's a burger, but when you bite into it, it's got this weird crust on it. And it's literally just a brown sugar breading on the burger. It's so good.
That sounds insane. Also,
Yeah, I don't know where you come up with something like that.
yeah,
Probably a lot of weed involved, but it's worth it.
yeah. Usually you just don't think about brown sugar on a burger. It doesn't really need it, but that's fine. I mean, I've eaten all kinds of burgers with all kinds of stuff it didn't need, but it just
Right.
better.
Yeah, the guy who decided we're going to put cheese directly into your hamburger. At some
Yeah,
point, people looked at him and went, "You think that's the best idea?" Now it's commonplace.
yeah, especially like putting cheese onto a portobello mushroom, then breading it, deep frying it, then putting that on the burger. That's
I need
good.
to go to this place.
Mm.
That is now I'm trying to think of Shake Shack. That's Shake Shack, which is a
We don't
chain. I
have
don't know how
those.
far it stretches. Okay, I don't know how far that
The
chain
closest
stretches.
one is Columbus.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's
yeah,
2.5 hours.
You know,
yeah.
the only thing I can think of right when you guys
But
are
that's
talking
why I
about
wasn't worried about taking a vaccine because it's like look at everything else I eat, so fine.
Was that Brainy?
I was saying the only thing I can think right there is like, man, that is so much cholesterol that you guys are talking about.
I know it is.
Bring your cholesterol went up listening to us talk about the cholesterol.
Like I said, I haven't had red meat in what 3-4 years now, so it's
I will say this though, and like I've gotten better as I've gotten older. For every one of those, I'm going to this dive bar to try this insane deep fried thing. There's probably 2 days where I go to the deli and get like a really nice, like fat free kind of, like low fat kind of deli sandwich or a salad of some kind. The deli by me now has a salad that I'll actually eat. It's a taco salad. I'm not a big salad eater, but this is really good. Kind of tastes like Taco Bell, like if Taco Bell put their seasoning on lettuce and then added cheese and Doritos.
Nice.
Like it's
Yeah.
the healthiest thing it might be the healthiest meal I put in my body.
with cheese and Doritos.
No, it's mostly lettuce, but it's got some kind of seasoning on it that tastes like kind of like Taco Bell seasoning.
Gotta try it.
It probably is because you can get Taco Bell seasoning in a shaker now.
Yeah, probably.
And that probably has sodium through the roof, but
Mm-hmm.
what are you gonna do?
Hey, it's all about comparisons, man. Like compared to deep fried cheeseburgers,
Yeah,
a little bit of sodium on a salad.
yeah. Brown sugar deep fried cheeseburgers are a sometime food for sure. You can't do
Right.
that every day. But I
Challenge
mean,
accepted.
when I went to California, I lived out there for 2 years. They were so confused that Texas had the audacity to fry avocados. Like it's just like then no one ever got over it. They also didn't know what queso was. Like I remember going into a place there, and I know there's a big difference between the food out there and Tex-Mex, right? But like ordering queso and them being completely baffled by the fact that like, what are you? So shredded cheese? No, no, queso. Yeah, but queso means cheese. No, I know, but there's a thing called queso, and they put like seasoned ground beef or chorizo or all kinds of meats in there, and they're like, "Why would you do that?" And I'm like,
But
"Okay."
See, at the places we have here, if you order queso, you just get liquid, white cheese. Like, you don't get any, there's nothing in it. But then you can order like queso con whatever, and
Yeah,
they'll put all kind of stuff in it.
yeah. I,
Um,
I figure in most places it's just like half a block of melted Velveeta.
yeah,
Not here though, but yeah, but other places. But it's
mm-hmm.
got to have something in it to be queso. Like and Torchy's has their hillbilly style queso where they just put a scoop of chorizo in there.
Yeah.
the closest Torchy's to me, which will be about an hour, will be done in 4 weeks, and I'm already planning the logistics to be close to the front of the line.
Are they doing any kind of promotion? Like an opening day
not
promotion?
but I've been hearing about Torchies for 8 years now, since my friends moved to Austin, and then I got to know Jen. So I've been hearing about Torchies for a long time without ever getting to experience a Torchies.
So
Yeah.
Kyle, do is do a little research. There's some secret menu items that you should know, like
Just
Mad.
text them to me. I'll just walk in and be like, I need this.
Just say I want a trashy trailer park. That's all you need to know how to say. Trashy
Okay.
trailer.
I need where I grew up. Got it.
That's
Have
if they
you
bring it
guys
over.
noticed that about every 5 weeks we have an episode where we talk about nothing but food?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it because those are the weeks where we're all hungry?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Some-
hungry now. Yeah.
It's like I can smell this cookie that I didn't get to eat before we went on the air, and it's like making me hungry.
Yeah. Well, what kind of cookie is it though? Okay.
Chips Ahoy.
Chips Ahoy.
Oh, okay.
Why do you keep looking to your who's there guy?
Nobody. It's So this is the so on the right screen is you guys. On the left screen is where I have the news, and on the third screen is where I had our streaming shows for the experience. And now that the experience is off the air for the night, it keeps changing pictures. And every once in a while, it'll go from a dark picture to a light picture and distract me. Like,
You turn away.
You should download pictures of the Torchies menu so you can start memorizing it.
it's just the Chromecast. Chromecast has those, generic photo backgrounds.
Yeah. Well,
Every once in a while, they just catch my eye going.
And just so you know, on the Torchies coding menu or the coding on that in that case, trashy means you take out the lettuce and you replace it with queso. So, oh, you're gonna live a life whenever that place.
She's so happy right now.
I'm actually slightly emotional thinking about it.
Yeah.
That just sounds so messy though.
It can be. It can be. I mean, the thing about Torchies is it's non-traditional tacos, right? Like if you try to take someone who's like a taco aficionado to Torchies, they might hate it because it's not simple tacos. Like I'm sure you can find like a taco truck with like better traditional like, carne asada and stuff, but you can't find a taco truck that puts on a flour tortilla a waffle, a fried egg, bacon, and a fried chicken tender with syrup on top. You can't find that. I'm all about it. That's the Roscoe,
All right.
only available in March, by the way.
Torchies franchise
Opportunity.
I say we start one, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm gonna open one up here in the plaza where my business is.
Yeah.
And it just be my private Torchies.
That reminds me.
And in
Yeah.
August, Kyle, you need to get your gut ready because in August is when they start putting up. I think it's August when they do the barn order.
It's almost like and Miss Jen, it's like a sick joke here in Texas, right? Because August is usually just miserably hot.
Yeah.
And that's when they do their heat challenge. And like each week they have they usually do a taco of the month, but in August they introduce a new one each week. And it just gets hotter and hotter and hotter. And I've only ever made it to week 2.
I think the week 4 you have to sign a waiver that you're
Sounds
not gonna.
right. Yeah. I'm surprised they don't make you complete weeks 1 through 3 first. That would probably make sense, but because you're paying a few bucks for one taco and people are just gonna be miserable.
I'm sure I told you guys already that Tony Fleece was with us for some convention. He came down to do a signing or something, and we went during that month. And I just was being silly, and I said, I double dog dare you to buy one of those, eat one. It wasn't the level 4 one. It was a barn burner, whatever level that was. And he said, okay. He ordered 2 of them and sat down and ate the entire thing. He was like, the thing you need to know is that the Fleece never back down from a challenge. Never. And I was like, oh no, a note to self, don't try to, kill.
I Man, I'm gonna hold that on Tony now when I see him next.
For those of you keeping score, you cannot currently franchise a Torchies.
What?
They announced current franchises are fine, but they announced a corporate thing to expand their total number of locations by double by 2024. At the top of the company's plan to open locations in North Carolina, Indiana, Ohio, Tennessee in 2021. The company's plan in Ohio will be to include the first Torchy's Ghost Kitchen in Columbus, the state capital and home of Ohio State University, which is set to open in the next few months. I don't know what a ghost kitchen is, but it sounds spicy.
I think that's like sort of the new trend where you can sort of rent a kitchen space with other companies and then rotate in and out. So it doesn't really have a permanent face to it. But I just had this thought, Kyle, you need to come down to an Astros game because they have a Shake Shack and a Torchy's in Minute Maid.
It would have happened, but Comic Palooza is a jerk or something. Comic Palooza is too expensive. Comic Palooza is too expensive. But it's going to happen eventually. I just need a reason to come to Houston that isn't to yell at the Astros. I'll be honest. I'm getting enough of a workout yelling at just the Tigers.
Yeah.
So, like, I can't yell at the whole of the American League.
Well, you're welcome for our manager, by the way. So.
He ain't helping us.
Well, he was on day one, but, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't help if you can't hit the ball or throw the ball or catch the ball or run.
Yeah.
Dude.
Sports ball talk, the Tigers right now are super terrible. But I did go to a Tigers game last Wednesday. Except that it was their extended spring training team off-site. How far is El Paso from Houston?
Oh, the worst 14 and a half hour drive of my entire life.
It's 14 and a half hours? Because there's a team in El Paso called the Chihuahuas.
Yeah.
That I really want to see because their mascot is everything.
Yeah.
It's the second best mascot in minor league baseball, right behind the Biscuits.
Whoa. But what about have the Rocket City Trash Pandas started yet?
They have, but their logo's not quite as good. Their logo is third.
Good. I saw it. Their original logo, I mean, basically was a Rocket Raccoon infringement for sure, but it was a raccoon in a trash can flying into space.
It's the Biscuits, the Chihuahuas, the Trash Pandas.
The Biscuits
in that order.
Yeah, the Biscuits is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
El Paso is a 14 to 14 and a half hour drive of it's excruciating.
So Kyle, right now, Brainy is closer to El Paso than we are.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, because
I've driven pretty far for baseball. 14 hours might be a little bit of a stretch. I've driven to Pawtucket, which is 15 hours, but at least some of that you get to drive through Boston. Mm-hmm. So, like, maybe I'll just fly. I'll come to Houston, spend a couple days, and I'll fly to El Paso for baseball and then leave.
There you go. That makes sense.
Because the drive to LA from here is 22 hours, and to get to El Paso, like I said, is the first 14, and it's just excruciating. It makes that next day fly by though, because you're going through 4 states. But yeah, it's that's the toughest drive I've ever made.
It's weird how outside of Texas, Ohio Ohio's a lot smaller than Texas.
Yeah,
but Ohio is a 5 hours across, no matter which north to south, and 6 hours across east to west.
You ever been in LA?
No. Here's what I'm saying. Like, so between Texas and California, there's all these really small states, and then all of a sudden, Texas is a big state, California is a giant state. So it's like, couldn't you have just made that like one state in between there, like made it nice and easy, like kept them all similar in size for my OCD?
Well, it's because Texas and California want to be their own country. They don't really want to be a state anymore.
All right, here history lessons with Kyle. Texas is the most likely state in the union to split off into either separate states, up to 4, or to be able to republicize itself again to leave the Union. California cannot because of a law that was passed during the 1840s during the gold rush in California. Texas never passed such a law when it became a state, so it could actually subdivide into 4 states without actually having the federal government do anything. It could not secede from the Union and become a republic again without the federal government allowing it, but it could split into 4 states.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Well, Texas is the only state I can think of that has tortilla chips shaped like its state.
I don't know, man. I think some of the Doritos started to look like California after a while.
Well, yeah, and like the tortilla strips, I guess technically, but I'm sure Miss Jen can attest. We do have Texas-shaped food in bags ready to go, like at HEB and stuff. You can definitely find Texas-shaped waffles and chips. Things.
Ain't nobody making. Well, every February 14th, you get all kinds of Ohio-shaped stuff.
Yeah.
Ohio is vaguely the shape of a heart. So anytime anything gets chipped off of a heart-shaped thing, it's the shape of Ohio.
So it's like a broken heart then?
No, it's like a heart where one ventricle is a little messed up.
Yeah. Yikes. Add that after we're talking about deep fried hamburgers.
Well, so you know the heart you get for Valentine's Day is based on the shape of a woman's buttocks when she bends over.
Yes.
Ohio is the shape of a woman's buttocks if she bends over and has scoliosis.
So you want to segue into box office now, or?
I watched a Boss movie this weekend.
What'd you watch?
Okay, so please forgive me because I cannot actually remember the physical name of the movie, which is don't get mad at me about it. Mike scheduled us to go and I just sat down and enjoyed it. But the funny thing about it is that this movie is made by a studio called Chicken Soup for the Soul, which makes you believe you're sitting down and watching a feel-good movie, but in fact it's really close to like John Wick.
Wait, was it Nobody?
Nope.
Oh.
It's a new thing.
Oh. Who was in it though?
Oh my gosh, it feels a lot like Nobody did, where the main character is someone you recognize as a character actor, but I don't know. I don't remember his name. You've seen him on a lot of stuff, but I can't remember his name now. But he's a very, very plain looking fellow.
Was it Trigger Point?
Yes, that's it.
I need to see this movie. It's got one of my favorite actors in it.
Me?
It's actually really, really good.
It's got Barry Pepper.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, who played Roger Maris. Yeah. But he was also in Private Ryan and True Grit, and
he's a great actor.
So many other. But he's not in a lot of stuff anymore. He doesn't act a ton anymore.
No.
So when he shows up, it's like you got to see the movie.
Is he the main? Is he the guy? Okay.
But the review I'm seeing is Barry Pepper's Trigger Point is a competent but incomplete thriller.
It ends with no resolution. That's why they're saying that. It is totally just hanging out there for a second movie because it does not resolve at all. You're just like you're waiting for a second act, even though it's been plenty long enough to have been an entire complete movie, and they just don't finish the conflict. So you know that they're aiming for another shot at it. So Trigger Point's aiming for another trigger point.
But is it the same concept as Nobody? So this was like counter programming from 2 different studios, then, right?
No, I mean, so like Nobody, the main character is essentially an assassin, and this one is more like a spy thriller in that the main character used to be part of, CIA or whatever the agency is, because they just call it the agency in the movie. And something happened to him that's previous to what you're watching in the movie, in which it appears he was tortured enough to give up the names of the rest of his group, and then they were all killed. So you meet him when he's already he's been disavowed, he's out of everything, and he's kind of like in his own place where he's got like a lockdown, really fancy house in the middle of nowhere, and he's trying to be no one, right? He's just really trying to blend into being in the middle of nowhere. And then there's a whole bunch of crazy intrigue, who's on whose side, as they try to unravel another mystery that's going on. So it's really good. I expected it to look low budget, but it didn't look low budget. It just was good storytelling.
I'm a Barry Pepper. Yeah. Was Barry Pepper, Kyle? Was Barry Pepper in 25th Hour?
Let's find out. I don't remember him being in it, but that sounds right. I didn't see 25th Hour.
Oh, you haven't seen it? It's excellent.
I've heard that. I just didn't see it.
Yeah.
Let's see. He was in the Titanic TV series.
That existed?
Apparently.
Before.
He played Dale Earnhardt in the Dale Earnhardt story.
Yeah. Yeah. 88, right? Or
3.
3. What am I thinking
He's
of?
Bobby Kennedy and the Kennedys. Getting there. I don't see it.
Okay. Probably mistaking another movie. But yeah, so Trigger Point with Barry Pepper. Miss Jen, how many times did you see Godzilla versus Kong this week?
We only watched it the one time. I asked my son if he wanted to go back and see it again. He didn't seem like he wanted to. So that's an indicator to me, probably how it's going to do at the movie theater. That it probably did well this week.
Well, it actually is doing fantastic. It just finished third week in #1, and so it's made a total of 80 million. But overseas, it's made 300 million. So, definitely like the breakout or the breakthrough, I guess, hit of the COVID pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
It's performing really well. And then speaking of nobody that had, like 25% of the box office, but came in #2, and then Unholy came in #3 again. So,
So Barry Pepper was in 25th Hour, but it's not listed on his own IMDb page.
it was a minor role. He was a friend of Ed Norton, but
yeah, I mean he's third listed.
Yeah.
In the cast, it's Ed Norton, Philip Sy Hoffman, Barry Pepper, Rosario Dawson, Anna Paquin, Brian Cox, Tony Sigurusa. The top names there.
Whenever you get off your media hiatus, watch that, because that cast, just read that cast, awesome. It's a good movie. Brian Cox is a definite standout as well.
Yeah,
that one. So as far as other movie news, big thing for me, the Shang Chi trailer. Did anyone else get to check it out?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I chose not to, but you guys can discuss it. I'm not, it's not going to ruin anything for me.
Well, all I want to say about it, I don't want to talk too much about it because I need to watch it 7 to 10 more times.
Yeah.
I watched it once on my phone. But I will say this: Simu Liu, who plays Shang Chi, today was his birthday.
Hi to them.
And they released the trailer. It was supposed to be a teaser, and then they dropped the full trailer as a birthday present for him. And I think some of that had to do with the fact that, he was in the wildly successful sitcom Kim's Convenience, which was ended, not canceled, just ended unceremoniously by the CBC. And he had been really struggling with it. So I think Disney was like, I got you. And they dropped this thing, and it really, like, you could see his Twitter feed change from a dark place to a bright place really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited for this movie. I think it's time we had some Enter the Dragon in the Marvel Universe.
Iron Fist.
I said Enter the Dragon, not Foot Fist Way.
Although also a very entertaining movie with Danny McBride, but yeah.
Yes.
Hilarious. I think the trailer is awesome. And Aquafina also in the MCU. What more can you ask for right now?
Dasani? I'm sorry. Every time somebody talks about Aquafina, I want to make that joke. And every time I do, I feel bad about it. I'll see myself out.
And then some kind of not weird news, but seemingly like not news is that Michael Keaton was confirmed to be in Flash, and like that was like a year ago. He was already confirmed to be in Flash. So I guess there was maybe some concern that due to the pandemic he was being hesitant about it. But they started production today, and he's in it. And I do like Ezra Miller as the Flash, but Michael Keaton being Batman in that movie makes it like a guaranteed I'm going to be there. Rather than just like wait, to rent it or whatever. So to me, even though it's non-news, it's just reaffirmation. Like, Mark, you weren't dreaming. Michael Keaton's coming back as Batman. So I appreciate that news on that level, anyway.
The one piece of movie news I saw is that Benedict Cumberbatch made a statement that says his face would spoil Doctor Strange 2.
Uh-oh.
And to me, that means it's fine. We finally have admission from an actor that they find themselves pretty. And as a straight male, I agree when it comes to Benedict Cumberbatch.
But what do you think? Does that tie into any Doctor Strange storyline? Like, do you think that means?
Oh, I have no idea. I read no further than the headline.
Oh, okay.
The headline was everything I needed for my joke and for my headcanon. So I can read it though. MCU star Benedict Cumberbatch keeps his face in while doing interviews for Doctor Strange 2 due to Marvel's strict content embargoes. So Marvel's saying, hey man, you need to put a bag over your head to do these interviews. It's like he's a Bengals fan.
I just wonder what that means. Like, if he's bald or his hair's done a certain way that would give away a storyline or something.
I heard that the costume would give it away. That they were talking about the costume. If people had caught a glimpse of it, that everyone would know what was going on.
Okay. But see, I guess I'm not well versed in the Doctor Strange comics to know of any specific costume or look that would go, oh, this is what they're doing.
Is it a facial hair configuration?
Oh, maybe.
Like beardy Doctor Strange, like more than just goatee Doctor Strange, like beardy Doctor Strange. Because the way the story hit first was some videos come out of him doing press where his face is obscured. So the first one is him, and it looks like he's on a Zoom on his phone, but his phone is sitting on the desk in front of him, pointing up at the ceiling, and he's sitting back, so you can't see his face. And it said, and his words are, and I quote, "By the way, you're looking at a ceiling right now because I can't show you my face because I'm making Doctor Strange and it's all embargoed what I look like." Anyway. By the way, I just listened to that and kind of repeated it, so it's not exact, but it's close. Then there's another one where he's giving an interview and you can see the visor in his car, but not him. Marvel is well known for its media blackouts on any information on its unreleased films and television shows. Apparently, that even applies to its stars' faces on occasion. There you go.
They should have just figured out some kind of Zoom, like whatever they're called when they go to your face.
Just put him in a green COVID mask and then put on a filter.
Sure.
Yeah.
Filter, yeah. Make him into an elephant or something.
Mm-hmm. If I can chroma key myself to look good, Marvel should have the technology to make it so Benedict Cumberbatch can do press. Also, we all saw what they did to freaking Chris Evans' mustache. All right, in Avengers. We know they've got some technology.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't think of any Doctor Strange look for me as a, I guess casual Doctor Strange fan that would give away like, oh, that's from this comic. So do you guys know of any specific look that would give away a massive Doctor Strange storyline?
Well, I mean, like Kyle's talking about, the bearded one would take us down the trail where they had where we ended up with the ghost dog, the Donny Cates run.
But does that deal with the multiverse? Like,
There's no way of knowing because the movie is called Multiverse of Madness. It could be the Doctor Strange from any multiverse.
right? Okay.
I'm in a coffee shop this weekend talking to a friend of mine about the fact that this movie is called Multiverse of Madness. And here is my new fan conspiracy theory. Are you ready?
Go.
Yeah.
Everything we've seen so far is not in the 616 universe. It's a different multiverse, different part of the multiverse. They're setting up the Ultimates when the Ultimates came to the 616 universe. So after, what was that? Infinity? When, Galactus destroys the Ultimates universe. So now you get Galactus. And the only way you get Galactus is through Doctor Strange. So the Multiverse of Madness is actually going to reveal that there are multiple multiverses in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they're not all taking place in the same one. So WandaVision doesn't actually takes place in this other multiverse, and that Wanda and Vision are still alive in the regular multiverse. So all of a sudden, what you're finding in the regular universe, is now you've got, okay, this is Captain America here, but here's also Captain America, but it's not the same Captain America, but they're the same Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they did that with the Into the Spider-Verse, so they've already explored that.
Which is a non-canon movie, as much as it's not part of the traditional MCU or considered part of the MCU. So now you can actually play those games and say, oh well, the Sony movies, while they are canon, are actually this other part of the multiverse where you're not thinking about it.
Well, they've had crossovers with Spider-Man and the Avengers in the same universe.
But I'm saying rather than thinking about it as a crossover, this is another universe Spider-Man. So you can use that Peter Parker and totally you can use what's his nuts who plays him and totally retcon everything he's experienced in the original Avengers movies as, oh well, that was just a different universe.
Yeah, but they, as far as Spider-Man is concerned, they've tied him into the MCU. So
what I'm saying is, what if that version of that Spider-Man exists on multiple parts of the multiverse?
Okay.
So now you don't have a Spider-Man who went through losing Tony Stark because he wasn't in that part of the multiverse.
I mean, we have that already. So again, it's Into the Spider-Verse takes into that into consideration. Then we have Spider-Man and other superheroes. Does the Spider-Verse
count towards the overall canon of the MCU?
They can tie that in easily.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what this does. Is all of a sudden it's Roger Rabbity, there's Doctor Strange, and there's an animated Spider-Man. Like there's so many opportunities.
You just said, but if Roger Rabbit comes into the MCU, that would be awesome.
Roger Rabbit, Howard the Duck, and Four Bushman. All at the same time.
And Slapstick. You got to put Slapstick in there.
Yeah. Oh, Slapstick. I always forget Slapstick and Dupe.
Dupe. That'd be fun.
Now, Kyle, one other bit of news from this week was that Alfred Molina said that basically his role in the new Spider-Man movie is going to pick up where Dr. Octopus left off at the end of
Is
Spider-Man.
Sam Raimi directing?
Hmm?
Is Sam Raimi directing?
Sam Raimi is directing Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness.
But Sam Raimi is not directing that Spider-Man film?
No.
Doesn't count.
Well, what I'm saying is going to...
Doesn't count.
What I'm saying is it's going to answer your question about the multiverse and how they're going to use it to move characters from here or there, whether that was 616 or this is 616. At the end of the day, they're going to do whatever they want, right? But if they bring in Galactus and Fantastic Four through Doctor Strange, I'm totally cool with that also.
Just saying, more Raimis, less other people.
I'm just glad he's getting this one. Here's what I want to see out of that movie he's directing. I want to see Bruce Campbell as an alternate version of Mysterio. We were always promised that. We were always promised that. Like that's what one of the things. If it would have kept going with the Tobey Maguire series, that was going to happen. So because he had the weird little short cameos and all that, this would be perfect to be an alternate reality or alternate universe Mysterio.
And that that is one way they can actually justify having three different Spider-Man series they did. Say, hey, yeah.
So, just as an aside, if the Raimis do more movies, the Raimis use a guy named Rob Tapper to do a lot of their producing. Rob Tapper is married to Lucy Lawless. Rob Tapper is from a place called Southfield, Michigan. And occasionally when they do movies, Rob brings the gear to Southfield after they're done with it because they're not using it anymore. And people like me have the opportunity to go up and get it.
So basically, you're suggesting it all just to be selfish and get equipment cheap.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. So just throwing it out there. Shout out to my buddy Rob. But, I want more Raimi movies. And they shoot a lot of them in Michigan. So the other thing about the Raimi brothers is they shoot a lot of their stuff in Michigan now. Because they can get huge tax credits, all that kind of stuff. But then schmoes like me have the opportunity to go up and stand around for 12 hours and be an extra in a movie. So there's a lot of benefit for me if the Raimis do the movies.
So it's not really about the movie; it's about Kyle.
When has it ever been about the movie, Brainy?
Kyle, be careful! Your ego's getting as big as mine.
There's a reason I had to expand to 3 studios, man. It's to hold my head.
We were talking about Spider-Verse and some Into the Spider-Verse 2 news. They announced 3 directors. The first one had 3 directors as well, and you can definitely see it with all the different universes and character animation styles and all that. It's Joaquin Dos Santos, Kemp Powers, and Justin K. Thompson. And interesting in there, probably a name to get excited about would be Kemp Powers because he's coming up with Soul, and then he's up for an Academy Award for a screenplay for One Night in Miami. So you talk about like talent, like in that the first one was incredible, but I think that there's going to be a lot of expectation for Into the Spider-Verse 2.
And
So
I think the first one raised the bar really high, and that's going to might be problematic now.
I think with this level of talent, they're going to be fine. It's kind of like what in the future, not necessarily spinoffs, but what else are they going to do? To me, it was just such like a refreshing take on the whole thing. And it was it was out of nowhere and it had a really high impact on a lot of people. So maybe in that sense, but I think that also once you set the bar high, the studio's understanding of what that audience wants, and so putting like this A-list talent behind the camera, even though it's animated for all intents and purposes, I think that's very telling that they want to deliver that high-end product, right? So I would be interested to know if they have any other animated franchises in mind outside of Spider-Man. So, but we'll see. I think it's definitely going to have high expectations, but I think it'll meet them. Mm-hmm. I do, especially with that. So
we'll see.
There was a piece of television news worth mentioning.
Does it involve Tiger King or Nick Fury?
No.
Oh, okay.
Dominic Purcell, who played Heatwave on Legends of Tomorrow, has quit Legends of Tomorrow.
Really? Was that all of a sudden? Was that just all?
It was like literally all of a sudden. They're starting to shoot. He says there's not an amount of money they can throw at him to get him to come back, because he does not like the direction the studio is forcing things.
Okay, see, I fell off that show real early on, so I don't know what where it's been headed. I know that it kind of took a drastic turn after season 2, but people seem to like it, and it's got a fun
I
cast.
really enjoyed it.
I wonder if there's behind the scenes stuff rather than, or maybe it's just what they're making his character do. I don't know. But
That's kind of the way it kind of went. The Instagram post read, or the way it read was that it was, hey, I've worked really hard to build this character. I've done a lot of work. And now the studio is like making him a schmuck.
oh,
Or making him into a bad, making him, taking away his redeeming qualities, the things that we worked hard to build. So, who knows? But it's not a great look.
no, it's not. That would be that's interesting. Now we'll see what happens with that. You would hope that they'd be able to work it out, but we don't know if he's like, approached them before about this and this was like the final straw. Like if the actor was speaking out before talking to them, maybe they could like go back and go, "Hey, we get your concerns, let's address it, and figure this out." But it sounds like he's done. Like I don't know if that's something you can just go back into the writer's room after that, but and especially if they've decided that that's what they're going to do, I don't know. But the Nick Fury news was that, and please, please, please let this happen. Olivia Colman is rumored to be joining Secret Invasion for Disney.
Okay, I get behind
Clearly,
that.
you're not a fan of The Crown, but that's fine. Olivia Colman's awesome.
No, I love Olivia Colman from what's the show she did with David Tennant?
Oh, you mean the one that was like remade for American
Show.
audiences and had like the same exact name almost?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
I like her from that.
that was Broadchurch.
Broadchurch, yeah.
And then they remade it with Skylar from Breaking Bad and changed the name, and David Tennant was still David Tennant, but Olivia Colman wasn't in the American version.
Right.
But and then John Cameron Mitchell will be playing Tiger King in the Kate McKinnon version of Tiger King. As we've discussed, there's 2 versions of Tiger King coming out. So
still haven't seen it.
The show was entertaining-ish enough, but I don't know if it really needs 2 motion pictures.
Also, that was the first thing to really pop because of COVID. Because you remember, like, we were just locked down.
Yeah.
And it was like the one thing like everyone latched onto. And so hopefully you're not going to have that when the 2 series come out, right? So it's like, and then the fact that there's 2 competing series and one might be semi-serious and one will be absurdist humor. It's like, we're done with that, right? And also just knowing how that turned out and the whole weird thing about he had a limo waiting for his pardon, and I don't know. And the fact of how the animals were treated, like, do we really want to keep getting behind this? I don't know.
Exactly. It's it's to the point where it's already been done. We already know where it's headed. So what's the point?
Yeah, I would rather see a movie or a series made on the other documentary that came out a little after that, McMillian, based on the McDonald's monopoly scam. I'd be more interested in that because I want to know more about that story.
I'd be more interested in they were going to do maybe a cold case file about where Baskin's first husband went.
Oh,
that will be interesting.
He got ate by a tiger.
Of course.
I've not seen the show, and I know that happened.
I can actually see Kate McKinnon doing very well, kind of treading that line about, you guys know what happened, so we'll see if they give her that freedom. But
so while you guys have been talking about this, I've been reading an article about how Family Matters is a spinoff of Perfect Strangers.
Yeah.
And my brain is crying, and I'm so happy.
Well, wait, but you knew that, right?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
Keep in mind, when Family Matters debuted, I was 1.
No, yeah, no, I understand. But you're
Okay.
also, but you're also like it seems like you're a sitcom scholar.
I
So-
am. But I knew they were related. I knew they happened in the same universe. I did not know one was a direct spinoff of the other.
Yeah, she worked at the paper with them.
Yep. I just read the article. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm having a whole new awakening to early 90s sitcom from when I was a small child.
Well,
And,
then one thing you should Google and see how many spinoffs there were of Married with Children.
I'm good.
Okay.
Because I know how many spinoffs there were of
how many?
All in the Family.
How many spinoffs were there of All in the Family?
I know how many there were, and I know how many there were of, things like Happy Days. So,
Well, I know that there's 2 All in the Family spinoffs that weren't great, Archie's Place and Gloria, but no, I'm saying that
there were
weren't.
4 total.
Yeah, but
from-
I'm saying that two were not great.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Gloria was rough. Spinal
The
Tap being a
difference was-
spinoff of All in the Family. Rumors are greatly over exaggerated.
No, Maude and Jeffersons were incredible shows, so I would not put them in. That's why I said there was 2 that were not great, and also,
And then you have to add Mork and Mindy because they were a spinoff of Maude.
Mork and Mindy was a spinoff of Happy Days.
Days. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There was another spinoff of Maude that I'm not thinking of. We can do this later. We've been at this for an hour and 25 minutes.
Okay, we can do this.
Oh.
later. We need a whole sitcom discussion sometime.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyone have anything to wrap it up? What you want to throw, Miss Jen? You want to throw any comics out there for this week?
I would, but now all of a sudden I can't remember the name of the really one that's going to break everyone's brains tomorrow.
Tornite.
You Promised Me Darkness is this week again. That's one of those weird ones that's got 2 release dates.
Yeah, You Promised Me Darkness, which everyone was calling me for last week, but actually releases this week. It is sold out and is already like $30 each of those books.
Yep. Batman Fortnite. That's the one everybody's clamoring for right now.
The Many Deaths of Layla Starr.
That's next week.
I'm excited to read it, but not sure how well that's going to do.
See, that's listed as this week.
Oh, maybe it is this week. I think that Rom told me it was next week, and I think he's wrong.
Well, it's entirely possible that like Rom is correct and that previews just isn't updated. Rom has been told something.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know what's exciting this week. I haven't looked at stuff coming
number
out.
1 from Scout.
Yeah.
Which one?
Unicorn number 1.
Oh yeah,
That came out last week, didn't it?
No,
we
you
got it last week.
got him last week because you're special. Then there are a couple from publishers I've never heard of that the covers have got me. One is Los Angeles from Bliss on Tap Publishing.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one, I don't know the publisher, but it just looks like a zine that I would totally read. It is called Honk and the Freeans. It's by Owen Clater. Yeah, I mean, it literally looks like something a kid would draw as a zine. So I'm excited to see because I like zine type things. So, but it's got wide release. So
Cool.
That's it. Any last words? No? Everyone good?
We're good.
Ish Quibble.
And for me, non-comic, but I just can't wait to see how Falcon and Winter Soldier wraps up, and we'll talk about that next week. But thank you, Kyle, Brainy, Miss Jen, as always, for talking with me the last now almost hour and a half. And thank you for watching Nerd News Now, part of the Kingdom of Geekdom on Woodlands Online, sponsored by the Adventure Begins Comics and Games and Space Cadets Collection. Check out their other shows on Woodlands Online, like Music Cafe, The Adventure Begins Show, Woodlands House and Home, The Best You, Between the Trees, Business Talk, and more. You can watch all these on Woodlands Online and on our partner station, KBQT HD21 over the air, on your television. All these shows and more on Roku. Just add Woodlands Online TV to your streaming lineup, and you can listen to the podcast version of this on Stitcher, Google Podcasts, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you next time on Nerd News Now.